sisters need love too. But I'm not talking about what you may or may not think I am. I'm not talking about the whole white woman seeing a black man to try and replicate the love that only a black woman apparently can. No. Right now I don't care for that. Nor am I talking about your relationship with your man and the problems that you have. You believe only love can cure. There is more to the love that we need. And since love is blind, no colour can be seen. So let me ask you from the very beginning to put a cap on how you react. If your mind instantly races back to race, that's a false start, so stop it in its tracks because it's deeper than that. Now I know it's deeper than a poem, and it's weaker to say than to show. And it's easy to say and still do it, and I know numerous performers have gone through it, and I know this poem may not mean anything to you, but then neither did my years and tears of crying for my brother back, crying when I needed you. And this is my only place to ventilate, but more than that, to plead with you, to demolish the creed you've encrypted in the streets, to clash with the final titans, to finally put to sleep the titles, and to understand that the streets are cold. And as humans, we're warm-blooded, so you can't remain in the heat of the hood when the heart of the hood is already dead. Home is where the heart is, and we need you. This stuck life will ever love you like we do. Weed is what you do, but you fail to understand that only mum can internally feed you. The green has made you a slave and given you a false sense of brave. Very interesting that you only roll in packs. But when it hits you, you only want to be alone, because only when you're alone can it hit you, and when it hits you, you're on your own, because all the other shotters have shot home, every man for himself, every man for himself. Come home, brother, because we need you. And selfish as it is, we need your love back. Back. Bro, come in, I want to show you my prom dress. And then he came in with a big smile on his face and he said, you're definitely going to get best dressed. Back. Sis, why are you crying? You know you can talk to me, right? And at that moment he rested my head on his shoulders and he told me that everything was going to be alright, and because he was my big brother, he was right back to the first spoken word I ever heard. When he came into my room and he snapped me a verse and he sat me down and he said, Sophia, learn to manipulate words to express your emotions. As a woman you hold power and your words are your potion. And then in a forward motion he handed me his laptop and Def Jam poetry was on the screen, and at that moment poetry became such a big part of me. And then back, I woke up and all of the above was just a dream. None of the above in reality actually happens to me. You see, I learned to appreciate the beauty in poetry because that was the only thing that was close to me. It opened me whilst my brother remained close to me. He chose to be close to me. You see, my brother never learned compassion on the street. So if ever I was crying, he wouldn't try to comfort me. He would nudge me and say, man up, son. Being emotional but won't get you anywhere. So I would find a spare tissue and let my tear roll down my face, drain a little with a pencil, and write the words my brothers never got to hear me say. I just need your love, bro. Your seal of approval. Not that you disapprove of the brute that's going to take me to prom, or that any man ever turns up at the door for me is going to be long for me, you and him. Now I'm not asking you to accept anything I do. I'm just asking you to be present for anything I do. And I'm tired. I'm tired of trying to think up excuses to excuse why you find home life so useless. Numerous times I've tried to cry on your pillow so the tears that tend to help me create these words can be heard by your ears as you sleep and maybe put to sleep your hope dreams. But as it seems, the seam of the same cloth that we came from is long gone. And it's not fun having to tightrope walk on spare threads every time I want to talk with you. But we're whether you choose to embrace or dismiss this, I just pray that Jesus walks with you. Because like the lyric says, only He can save us. So there's still hope. There's still hope even if you use this poem as roll-up paper. Thank you. I'm saying sparkling water is horrible and I'm still drinking it. Right, go. I guess it's safe to say that I'm part of the 1/13 of mankind, the blind side. In hindsight, when the question arose as to whether I'd rather be deaf or blind, and I chose both because I couldn't imagine one without the other. Well, as it stands, I can't see. And in my blindness, I became a headache to my mum, my dad, everyone around me. And long story short, I ended up alone. No home and no vision, in both senses of the word. My world went from bad to worse. I was vicariously plummeting through darkness. Do you know what it's like to not see? Like, do you know what it's like to not see, to slowly lose any memory of beauty to the point where you can't even have confidence in your own dreams? Do you know what it means when sleep can no longer be your haven, when aesthetic appreciation can no longer be your saviour? There is danger in losing yourself. When you try to picture yourself and you only see a distorted image, and slowly you become your own stranger. And who knows, when you lose yourself, you open yourself to all kinds of obscure behaviour. I began doing things I wasn't proud of. I put my body through things that I would only wish the blind to see. They say, in the darkness you find the light. I didn't. The light found me in a bodily form of 3, maybe 5 people. I recall saying that their voices sounded like instruments. In fact, I still remind them almost every morning, especially after Sunday service, when they come back and they're still rejoicing. Living with this family it's been wild. But no matter how crazy it gets, I'm still eternally and internally grateful that they pretty much took me in and made me their child. When I first moved in, I used to constantly ask them why they were taking a blind person. And they used to say to me all the time, that's just the way they were. It was the way they were raised, it was their culture. To offer room, even if they had none, if that meant the homeless got shelter. When I was first taken into this household, my heart was like a block of iron, but during my time there, it melted. The house was so warm. And for a blind person, I can tell you that there was such an ambience. The house was just full of love. Now, you could even feel the love when Mum was disciplining her son. Or maybe it's because the house was so much fun. The house was so much fun. Especially when dinner time came and everyone would help out. And no matter how many hands were involved, Mum would still get stressed out. Or the time when little bro had to lean against the wall with his arm stretched out because he stretched out his hand and tried to take a piece of meat from the pot, but it was too hot, so he dropped it on the floor. But at the same time, Sis got through the door and slipped into Mum. Living in the house was so much fun. And when you're in a place that is full of joy and love, it's so easy to fall in love with the person that you've become. Especially with Mum constantly reminding us that we were great. She even named one of her sons Great. That's the other thing I loved about the family. Gradually, family manually became a way of life and encompassed every decision we decided to make in life. Like the time when little bro came home and told Dad and older bro that in school he was getting in fights. Dad and older bro used to wake him in the night, take him to the light, show him the ropes and train him to fight and say, never back down and never lose sight of the light that's within him. because losing sight of what's inside can kill her. But Mum was always the gentle hand. She thrived off raising gentlemen. The boys were her pride and her joy. They were trophies. She would parade them around at family parties, especially to the daughters and the aunties. Family parties. If I was to make a list of all the things I would most miss if I was to leave this family, that would be at the top. It encompassed everything I loved about this family. Their culture was so colourful. Their sounds were magic. It's weird because being with this family, they sort of made being blind bearable. Like their actions and being spoke volumes that I don't think my eyes would have been able to pick up on. Like I wasn't tripping on any kind of prior prejudice. Only once did I feel their faces and their lips like vases, moulded, still waiting to dry. No wonder they always had Vaseline by their side, and their faces so refined, so planned, so defined, and their noses so grand, and their palms toughened for their future plans, and the veins in their arms and the lines on their palms readable, and in every line was a story. No wonder the house was always full of talking. They were so beautifully and incredibly made. They were like works of art, like portraits, like sculptures. If one day I was to be blessed with sight, I know, like something tells me from within, that I would find minimal darkness and mainly light and joy and strength inside the culture that lies beneath black skin. Thank you.